Uber was even hacked. Uh, in 2016, Uber reported that hackers stole the information of over 57 million riders and drivers. Okay, and Uber even need to pay off hackers to delete the stolen data of 57 million users and keep the breach quiet. Uh, so this is I have inserted those statistics to prove that indeed cybersecurity knowledge and skills are, especially at this point in time, are very important. When we talk about cybersecurity, very important that we are well aware of the CIA triad. It is a model developed, and it said that in security, cybersecurity, or even in information security, these three elements needs um, to be present, to be addressed. That is that in security, confidentiality, integrity, and availability needs to be ensured. When we say again confidentiality, it refers to ensuring that the data is unreadable during transmission. It prevents revealing of the information, uh, and then uh, integrity. When we talk about integrity, it deals of the fact that the data during transmission is not altered, that the information should be accurate. And the last one is availability. This ensures that information is accessible to authorized person when required without delay, that there is a protection from denial of service, that it ensures high availability. Okay. Uh, Aside from this SIA triad, the confidentiality, integrity, and availability, also very important to ensure uh, authenticity. In authenticity, the identification and assurance of the origin of information is present. And non-repudiation. Non-repudiation is the assurance for which someone cannot deny something. It is the ability to ensure that a communication cannot deny the authenticity of someone's signature on the document or prevent a message that he or she originated from being sent. Okay. There are different mechanisms to ensure confidentiality, integrity, availability, authenticity, and non-repudiation. As we go along, we will define and identify processes involved in these mechanisms uh, developed to address issues in these different elements of security. So in this slide, it explains the relationship of the security, functionality, and the ease of use triangle. Okay. This diagram explains that, say, in a given system, if we are to strengthen a security, if we increase the security measures or restrictions, the functionality, performance of a given system is compromised, so as with the ease of use. Okay. One good example is like what we are experiencing right now. We need to tighten our security with the COVID pandemic. That's why we need to stay at home. We need to impose lockdown and quarantine. But we do know we've been in lockdown for 2 months. There's one component being compromised, and that is our economy. No, so that's why the economy is like the functionality or performance of the system of our country. So very important to balance these components. So just like in the news, they follow certain model, okay, to balance the security, the health security in reference to the virus, and so as at the same time the economy is not being that too much compromised. So same thing here. There are frameworks being developed to balance the security and to ensure that the functionality or performance of a system is not compromised. So other concept of security we need to be well aware of, precaution. When we say precaution, these are an action taken in advance to protect the system against potential threats or danger. Very important to take precautionary measures. Example, basic ones, say, okay, precautionary measure, if you buy a computer, a laptop, you need to install before using them or connect to the internet, install an antivirus software. Next is maintenance. Maintenance is the action that supplements the precautionary measure. For example, okay, you already have installed an antivirus program. Maintenance is um, to uh, ensure that your software is updated. Okay, there. Or impose a strong password and you change this password periodically. Another is reaction. Reaction is a uh, reaction is a security incident, uh, such as network intrusion, may still cause equipment failure. Under such circumstance, reaction speed to alleviate the damage is vital. Uh, Reaction is like, okay, um, you have to prepare a guidelines in times of disaster. Okay, uh, this is to ensure that you minimize or reduce your risks or your loss. Okay, that's very important. Okay, so um, we will deal with different um, means of imposing precautionary maintenance and reaction measures during our live sessions. Next, layers of security. We have authentication. Again, in authentication, this is to ensure that only authorized users are the one that has access to the system. So there are different means. We are to deal with that. Like the popular ones is to provide username and password. These are not the only way to authenticate a system. We look into that. There are different concept behind it. Okay, next is authorization. So once a user has already access to the system, what we do is we impose access control. We define what are those parts in the system that are only accessible by these users. So we have this concept of access control in Security Plus. We will discuss that. We will discuss these different types of access controls. And then, very important also is to secure our application software. So, we may define procedural methods to protect applications from external threats. The source of vulnerabilities in an application is in the presence of bugs or design flaws. And there are means for us to address these bugs and design flaws. As we move along, we will discuss that. In a home computer, some of its vulnerabilities include there is a low level of security awareness. Users are not aware how to secure their computer. They don't change the default setting. Another is, especially nowadays, that there is an increase in online activities and we are not well aware of the different types of threats or attacks that occurs when we connect in the internet. Um, there's a little investment to security system and we do not follow any, or maybe we're not, a user is not well aware of standard security policies or guidelines uh, that were set for a home computer system. Uh, So how do we make a system secure? We can define access control. We have to set up authorization. Uh, we will we will deal with that in this course. There should be a system security administration. We may perform offline actions such as clearly defining system administrator responsibilities, training and monitoring of users regarding security policies, and so on. In the next chapter, we are to deal with this access control and security administration for our home computers. We can define data access control. In data access control, we define rules. And in these rules, we set who are the ones that only has access to our data, to our files. Okay, we can define some a series of permissions, read write, execute permissions, and last is um, we need to set ensures that our system has the security characteristics, especially in our hardware, software. We may implement memory segmentation, privilege isolation, and so on. As we move along, have we will have discussions and even laboratory activities which in relation to these security characteristics.
Summary for this lesson: security is a state of well-being for information and infrastructures. Computer security is the protection of computing systems and the data they store or access. Confidentiality, integrity, non-repudiation, authenticity, and availability are the elements of security. Security risks to home users result from various computer attacks and accidents causing physical damage to computer systems.
So this ends the first part of the chapter 1. I hope to see you on the next video. Keep safe and together we learn as one. Thank you.